Nice to see you too, Jack. Thank you for having me. So I'm Yago Colas, and I'm a professor in the Department of Comparative Literature and in the Residential College. And I'm the co-organizer of the Fab 5 at 25 Roundtable discussion event.
So can you give us a brief overview of what this event entails?
Yeah, so it's October 8th, which is a Saturday, from 2 to 4 in Hill Auditorium. It's open to the public and to all students for free. Doors open at 1:30. It's general admission. And we've put together a panel that includes 3 members of the Fab 5, Jimmy King, Ray Jackson, and Jalen Rose. Also a journalist and journalism professor, Kevin Blackstone from the University of Maryland, and a scholar of education from the University of Houston, Billy Hawkins, who's written about issues of college sports and race.
So as sports studies professor, what do you think this event will have in terms of the impact on the student body and around the campus?
I think what I'm hoping is that it allows this generation of students to connect to a team that was really important to Michigan students of the past, very successful on the court. Also, though, that it will allow them to kind of understand the broader context for the importance of the Fab 5, which was cultural in terms of their style of play and their style off the court, their outspokenness, the fact that they were 5 freshmen. So there's a lot of kind of elements that their relationship to African American culture. I'd like them to kind of get to know all of that stuff, and then also to understand that in some ways the taboo, as you put it, around the team stems from, as some of your viewers may know, a scandal that it kind of caught up with one of the members of the team, Chris Webber, and that raises issues about big-time college sports, money, revenues that get generated, the payment of college athletes. I mean, there's a whole host of important contemporary issues that this team kind of can serve as a lens for, and I'd like our students to get a chance to be part of that conversation.
So you have a closer relationship with Jimmy King than most people can say they have. How did that all start, and what does that have to do with this event?
Sure, that's a great question. I reached out to Jimmy on Twitter to see if he would be willing to come to my Cultures of Basketball class that I teach through the RC, because we were going to be talking about the Fab 5 documentary. And I thought it would be great to have a member of the team present. And to my surprise, he replied. And it turns out he was very eager to be part of that conversation, to interact with Michigan students, to be back on campus. And so he has come to the class every semester that I've taught it since then. In the class we have played an intra-class 3-on-3 tournament, and Jimmy's been part of the tournament, playing on my team.
Some stiff competition.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're both getting older. You know, I found that he has a lot to say, that he's a natural teacher and a natural poet, and the students get very excited every time he comes to class. And so it was in the course of his visits to class that we started to think about trying to organize an event on campus to kind of open that experience up to more people. And so he is a co-organizer of the event. He helped get together the other guys from the team that are involved and participated in most of the discussions that I had with people at LS&A and with athletics about the event. So he's an integral part of it. In some ways, I would say he's the heart of it.
Will this event open up some different perspectives or different conversations that aren't present in that documentary?
It's a good question. I think that the very fact of having the players on campus at an event hosted by the university already changes the dynamic a little bit. It speaks to a kind of rapprochement, I would say, between the institution and the players, and I think that should facilitate some new perspectives that weren't available yet at the time that the documentary was made, now 6 years ago.
Students now don't have the same connection with this Michigan team as students did when they were actually playing.
Right.
What do you think is most important for students today to take away from that event, or something that they could look forward to learning about or being enlightened about?
Sure. Well, I would say, maybe I could answer that this way. I think for me, what's most important about those players and that team is that they stood for freedom and integrity as young men in the spotlight, bringing kind of a mode of self-expression and a style of play to college basketball, even in the face of sometimes very hateful kinds of reactions. They remained, I think, true to themselves and believed very much in their right to express themselves freely as the people they were.
Great. Well, thank you so much.
Pleasure. Great to talk with you, Jack.